pleased with what I'm seeing from Sabrina Ionescu. This girl has worked on getting to the paint all off season, and her toolkit around the rim and her finishes and her footwork are absolutely showing that. She's having a breakout year. I mean, for an all-star, I think she's having a breakout from already a breakout. And they got like 3 legit players who you could talk about in the MVP conversation in Stewie, in Jonquel, and Sabrina.
Well, actually, I was going to ask you that. Do you think this could be another MVP season for Stewie?
I think it'll be hard. I mean, I think it's possible. Again, coming out of the Liberty, there's this 3-headed unit of players who from any given game can be the dominant player or be the player that's the catalyst to everything good that the Liberty are having. So that's Jonquel Jones, that's Sabrina Ionescu, that's Breanna Stewart. I love the way you asked about Stewie. I love the way she, fills up a stat sheet. Whether the stat line shows it or not, Stewie is so important to like the steady heartbeat of what the Liberty are doing. But if we are having an MVP conversation, guys, it has to start with A'ja Wilson. Like, A'ja, period, full stop. Like, it's A'ja and then everyone else. And I mean, when I think about, and I'm going to throw this question to you, I'm going to say, what makes an MVP to you? Because this is where we get in the arguments at the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And we start to say, well, okay, how do we decide what an MVP is? So I'm going to start with y'all. Like, what's your criteria of what makes an MVP?
I think even if you look at the conversation over in men's basketball, there are people that felt like other people deserved MVP over Jokic. But I think the same applies here, where an MVP is valuable because is that team sustainable without that person? So
I like that.
I put this on you because you're the expert. Could the Liberty succeed without Stewie? Likely. Could the Aces succeed without A'ja?
Look, both of these two teams have a luxury, a wealth of talent in the Aces and the Liberty, so, like if you really want to have that conversation, how well do the Lynx do without Nafisa Collier?
Right.
I think we saw that about a season and a half ago, or 2 seasons ago. But for A'ja Wilson, you can't point to this season and how she's held down the fort while her team has had multiple injuries. And I mean, an injury to Chelsea Gray, this is arguably one of the most important players on the team. She may not be the MVP of the league and of the Aces, but Chelsea is so important to winning. So with her out, with Jackie Young having missed time, like A'ja held down the fort. So I think to your question, to make an MVP, it's importance to their team. I think statistical significance is important to me in voting for an MVP, and the success of a team. Like her team is still right there. I think it was a little bit of a bumpy start, but this is still the Aces. So I think for that reason, at this, still relatively early point of the season, it's A'ja and everybody else in the MVP conversation.